Hi, I'm James Posey, online editor of MROnetwork.com, and we're here at MRO Europe in London, and we've spoken to some of the stakeholders at the event over the last few days just to get a good indication of their thoughts on Brexit and some of its potential impacts on the commercial MRO sector.
For the moment, like the rest of the industries across the UK, it's creating uncertainty. And it's very difficult to plan for something you don't know kind of exactly what's going to happen. The train's left the station, we don't know who's driving it, we don't know kind of ultimately what direction it's taking. But you've seen some people take sort of proactive action. So on the airline side, you've got, for example, EasyJet setting up their operation in Vienna with Austrian AOC. Of a traffic perspective, it's been generally speaking sort of somewhat neutral for the airlines because you've got the exchange rate meant that UK is cheap to go to, but it's more expensive for Brits to travel. Net probably is down a bit. On the sort of the MRO side, very little change in terms of the aftermarket at this point in time, apart from dealing with the uncertainty or trying to make some plans. For example, Rolls-Royce, whilst they've put some activity into Germany, they've announced a new shop in Derby so nobody necessarily offshoring stuff at this point in time.
The change in exchange rates has had a positive impact on bringing work into the UK. The flip of that is that anything you pay in dollars or euros has changed as well, but certainly we're seeing ourselves more competitive outside of the UK.
For the last month or so, in preparation for the presentation, I've been visiting MROs, which are kind of our charter for this discussion, and I think it's from Bucharest to Cardiff, I think it's a emotional issue because everybody's waiting to see what's going to happen. It's kind of the fact that the train, Brexit, has left the station, but everyone's waiting to see who the driver is and what happens in the next 18 to 20 months. So on a regulatory issue, I don't think anyone is making any changes yet on the MRO side, but you may see people coming up in the next 18 months or so who have business plans of opening new MROs, of increasing that before Brexit actually takes place, just because of the licensing agreements and things they're trying to get in place before Brexit.
So yeah, Brexit at the moment is not really having any major impact on my business activities. And I think it's still early days, so a lot of people are just waiting to see how things will move between the discussions with the EU and the British government. The only effect it's had on me personally, living outside of the UK, living in Italy, is the consideration of changing my citizenship to an Italian citizenship. Just because we don't really know how it's going to affect us going forward. I think that goes across the board for a lot of the Brits living outside of the UK in Europe.